Live from Dallas and Fort Worth, this is CBS 11 News at 5, the ones for Texas.
Right now at 5, the city of Dallas begins dismantling a multi-million-dollar project that didn't quite pan out as planned.
Also, dollars turned into redevelopment dreams, the move that could bring new life to a local mall. Thank you for joining us today at 5 o'clock. I'm Doug Dunbar.
And I'm Gilma Avalos. Redbird Mall is now in the hands of private owners, but a $22 million show of support from the Dallas City Council is expected to mean big changes. Our Robbie Owens is live at Redbird with reaction from the community. Robbie?
Well, Gilma, we could talk all day about the excitement in this community to see an aging, almost empty mall become this. The consensus in brief, it's about time.
In spite of pristine neighborhoods nearby, the one-time economic engine of South Oak Cliff has been running on fumes for years.
We take our money to North Park, Park Mall, Arlington, maybe Hillside, City Hill.
But with the planned $157 million mixed-use development in the works, instead of despair, the empty storefronts say new opportunities are coming.
And we got this. We got this.
Etna Pemberton has fought for decades to see the mall exceed its former glory. Now, even as she deals with some vision struggles, the powerhouse advocate known as Mrs. P says she can still see the change happening.
When you can't see with what God gives you something else, like a Timex watch, you take the licking and keep on ticking.
So her community war room is right back at work, always advocating, always celebrating South Oak Cliff. It's the kind of excitement that has business owner Jason Dixon telling the naysayers that he knows what he's doing.
Where everyone's saying, you're crazy, you're staying here, and nobody's coming, y'all should be outside the mall. Well, yeah, we're going to open a location outside the mall as well, but to be here, when they actually make the transformation, we want to be a part of that grand opening.
I want to see it do amazing, not just well, amazing.
And then you'll bring your money back here?
I'm coming back.
Now, the community is already asking for it to be patient with the construction when it gets underway early next year. But check this out. They were already thinking ahead. The Starbucks here is already built. It expected to be open later this summer to put everybody in a better mood. Live in the Redbird area of Dallas, I'm Robbie Owens, CBS 11 News.
Robbie, thank you. A highly touted recreational feature in the Trinity River built by the city of Dallas is now in the process of being partially removed. We're talking about the standing wave, which was designed to give kayakers the feeling of whitewater rapids. Jack Fink live at the Trinity River along the Santa Fe Trestle Trail with the story. Jack?
Well, Gil, as you can see, a very impressive view of downtown Dallas. And while the rapids here have provided a very picturesque spot for kayakers and others, it's really proven to be a major headache for Dallas City Hall for years now. And while crews are busy at work now, and when they are done 6 months from now, the river will once again look like this.
Some folks in the past thought this was a good idea. Unfortunately, it didn't quite pan out.
The Trinity River standing wave is coming to a crashing end. Crews began removing the water feature today after the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers told the city it couldn't keep it as it is. The Corps, which oversees the Trinity River, was concerned large debris could get stuck in the rapids, disrupt the water flow, and potentially cause flooding. The feds also said the river had to be navigable both ways, something the feature prevents. The decision to build the standing wave, which was popular with kayakers, came before Bobby Abtahi became president of the Dallas Park and Recreation Board.
And I've seen plenty of kayakers down here enjoying the feature. I think the issue became that you need to, per the rules, you need to be able to navigate up and downstream.
Abtahi said while the city got a permit from the Corps to build a recreational feature, the end result wasn't permitted. The Corps gave the city 3 options, and the city chose the least expensive. It will cost $2 million to remove it, on top of the $4 million spent to build it.
So everything above the, they're going to take it down to the riverbed. So you'll still see the rocks on the sides, but you won't see this wave effect.
So total cost to taxpayers, $6 million. This project should be completed by the end of November. Until then, the city says the Santa Fe Trestle Trail will be closed. along with this part of the Trinity River. Boaters are not going to have access to it. Live in Dallas, Jack Fink, CBS 11 News.
Jack, thanks very much. A court rejected the appeal of a Texas man who's on death row right now for killing a retired TCU professor. Back in 2004, Edward Lee Busby kidnapped 77-year-old Laura Lee Crane from a parking lot, bound her, put duct tape on her face, and placed her in her car's trunk. She ended up suffocating. Busby dumped her body in Oklahoma. His lawyers had argued that he is mentally impaired and ineligible for the death penalty, but a federal appeals court rejected that argument. The Department of Justice won't appeal a judge's decision allowing Dallas-based AT&T to merge with Time Warner. The Justice Department was facing a Sunday deadline to appeal, but decided against doing so this afternoon. CNBC is reporting that AT&T will try to close the $85 billion deal as soon as tomorrow.
Former FBI Director James Comey did not do a good job of keeping superiors informed of his investigation into Hillary Clinton's email server. That is according to a new report from the Inspector General. 2 years ago, Comey recommended against charging Clinton for using a private email server when she was Secretary of State. Comey revived the investigation just before the presidential election, citing newly released emails. Some believe this cost Clinton the election. The report did not find any decision in the investigation to be politically motivated. In a tweet, Comey called the conclusions reasonable, but said he disagreed with some of them. President Trump fired Comey last year, initially citing his handling of the Clinton investigation. Some Texas abortion providers filed a lawsuit today in an attempt to change some decades-old regulations. 2 years ago, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a 2013 law that created more stringent guidelines for clinics. That law led to the closure of more than half of the state's abortion providers. The group behind today's lawsuit wants a federal judge to consider that ruling while looking at long-standing requirements over ultrasounds, waiting periods, and licensing.
Dozens of rallies are being held all around the country to protest the separation of families at the U.S.-Mexico border. Camila Bernal now with details on the show of support nationwide for families and also how lawmakers are reacting.
Hundreds of children, possibly more, have been separated from their parents as a result of the Trump administration's new zero-tolerance policy on illegal immigration.
Having children does not give you immunity from arrest and prosecution.
One attorney says some parents claim they've been told their children are being taken to be cleaned up. Then the adults don't see them again.
One of the women that I interviewed today told me that she was breastfeeding her daughter when the government took her daughter from her.
A Customs and Border Protection official responded to what Canelo told CNN, saying the allegations were unsubstantiated and, quote, nothing can be further from the truth. Nonetheless, Democrats are criticizing the practice.
To the barbaric and unacceptable policy of ripping children from the arms of their parents at the border, barbaric. That's not American.
House Speaker Paul Ryan also critical of the administration's practice and pointing to Congress for a fix.
We don't want kids to be separated from their parents.
In Washington, I'm Camila Bernal.
Well, today is Flag Day, a time meant to honor the American flag. And a fire station in Grapevine made one way to observe the day easier than ever. CBS 11's Brooke Rogers is live there with the story. Brooke?
Well, Gilma, this was once a mailbox. It is now retired and decorated, as you can see, with a golden bald eagle. And it's meant as a place for American flags that are also retired. When Old Glory gets old, there's a proper way to say goodbye. According to the United States Flag Code, a flag that's worn, torn, or tattered should be retired in a special burning ceremony.
We would fold the flag and make a large enough fire, put the flag in the fire to where we completely incinerated, and then bury the ashes.
Torrance, a firefighter, paramedic, and Eagle Scout, says it's not something you should try on your own.
We don't want you to have a fire outside, especially in the weather we're having this summer. It could start grass fires and that sort of thing.
He appreciates that a local Eagle Scout candidate made it easy to achieve with this box, where anyone can leave a flag whose flying days are over.
It keeps people from doing the wrong thing, if you will, to a correct place for them to bring a flag where it gets the proper recognition and respect that the flag deserves.
He says sometimes they come with a single flag and sometimes a box of them. To 27-year U.S. Army veteran Dwight Mathis, the fact that they come at all is what counts.
It's a symbol of our freedom, and to dispose of it properly is something that we need to do, and we need to take pride in doing it.
And the Boy Scouts empty this box every time it's full, which is about once a month. Then they host a proper burning ceremony. Live in Grapevine, Brooke Rogers, CBS 11 News.
Wonderful that it's being done properly in so many places.
Sure is.
Not just there, but elsewhere.
Our thanks to Brooke Rogers. And the men and women in blue showing off the best of the best.
There are definitely bragging rights. There's MVPs as a result.
The annual event that turned Cowtown into Coptown today.
I figured it's probably not good enough just for us to watch the game here. How about we go to Omaha?
Say what? It is the Father's Day present that is winning the internet. Why one son's gift is bringing some people out there to tears.
You might have been in tears today as you stepped outside maybe to do some yard work. Another really hot day today, 96 degrees, but the summer swelter, it's going to start the weekend. I'll tell you when the temperatures get a bit better coming up.
Southlake police tell us they're getting ready to arrest a group of thieves who were all caught on camera, and this is a great lesson for all of us. The department just released the video to show people just how crafty and coordinated these crooks can be. So you're going to watch here. There's 6 people in all who team up to steal a woman's purse last September. One is talking to her as they look at shirts, while someone will walk by the woman's cart and then open her purse. A third suspect will come into play, intentionally crashing her cart into another suspect's cart. That creates a quick distraction, and that is when person number 5 covers the victim's purse, steals the wallet. Officers say within about a half an hour, all the suspects racked up about $7,000 worth of charges on the victim's credit cards. Police say if you're ever in a situation where you feel like you're kind of being watched while you're shopping, first, they say make some eye contact, and then don't be shy about finding a security guard or even calling the police.
Hackers and law enforcement will have a harder time getting information from iPhones. Apple's new software update features a USB restricted mode. It stops data from being transferred through the device's Lightning port. Apple says it's meant to prevent identity theft and hacking, but it also blocks out law enforcement. Giving law enforcement backdoor access to devices is an ongoing issue between the government and tech companies. From being told he may never walk again to playing second base, Louisiana Congressman Steve Scalise takes the field tonight, 1 year after he was shot during practice for a congressional baseball game. One bullet hit the Republican in the hip, shattering bones and causing internal injuries. He has undergone nearly a dozen surgeries to repair the damage.
I think the lowest point was the first time I saw my kids. You know, it was tough for them to absorb something like this, you know, to know that your dad was shot, somebody tried to kill me.
So good to see him doing so well. And money raised from tonight's game will benefit charities. First pitch is in about 45 minutes.
Let the games begin. Law enforcement officers and first responders from all over the state have gotten together. They're in Fort Worth, and they're competing for bragging rights. Ken Molestina takes us to this year's Texas Police Games.
Well, this is basically camaraderie between police agencies.
Cops from near and far.
Throughout the state of Texas and even out of state.
Trading out their police uniforms for game jerseys and representing their departments in what many have dubbed the Cop Olympics.
There are definitely bragging rights. There's MVPs as a result. We give out medals, gold, silver, and bronze medals throughout.
The 2018 Texas Police Games are being hosted in Fort Worth this year. These law enforcement officers say with little practice and some self-deprecating humor,
I think we still try to think that we're young and we can do it.
They've prepared to fight it out for bragging rights over a long list of sports to include basketball and softball.
There's some rivalries going on that continue, but it's all fun and games.
For fans like Mark Rosen, half the fun is seeing his son, a Dallas police officer, compete.
I enjoy watching him play still. He, watched him ever since he was 4 years old.
The games have been going on since 1974. Much has changed over the years, except the reason why they come together to compete in the first place.
Just building positive relationships with other agencies and other individuals, and also the kids that are here having a memory of what they saw as a kid, and hopefully someday recruiting them to be a police officer.
In Fort Worth, Ken Molestina, CBS 11 News.
No jaywalkers here. These ducks in Keller's Bear Creek Park knew exactly what to do when they needed to waddle across a road. Keller police tweeted out this photo thanking the ducks for using the crosswalk and the drivers for yielding to the feathered pedestrians.
And the one takeaway from that photo is they were out for their walk early in the morning before the sun got really hot.
That's what we should all
I noticed that.
Yeah, and you can waddle too if you want to.
Sure.
It makes it a lot better in the morning hours. Temperatures definitely this morning were in the upper 70s. Better time to get outside and take your walk because today we topped out in the upper 90s, about mid to upper 90s. We're still at 97 degrees at Texas Motor Speedway with our winds out of the southeast at 17. But look at those clouds there just dotting the sky. You can see there's not a lot of lift to them, not a lot of height to them. So that indicates to me that we have a little bit of drier air over North Texas. And you can see on the radar, really no rain in sight for us here in North Texas. Sea breeze showers and storms trying to hold together as they're working their way from the southeast to the northwest. They don't really have a chance of pushing their way here into North Texas, and we need the rain. We're sitting at 95 right now at DFW, to 97 in Azle, 99 now in Fort Worth, to 95 in Denton. Little Elm actually reporting 100 now to 94 in McKinney. So we're dealing with temperatures that still are above average for this time of the year. But thankfully, as you see across the Metroplex, the dew points in the 50s to the low to the mid 60s. So what that means is it felt just a little bit better through the day today. Here's our dew point scale. And in the 50s, it's awesome. The 60-degree mark for us, about pleasant. We're in between about the 60 to 65-degree mark. So the humidity is noticeable, but not really bad for us. Into the evening hours, our temperatures still are going to be in the mid to the low 90s by about 9, on our way down to the upper 80s by 11 with our winds out of the southeast near about 10 to 15. Tomorrow we start out again 78 to 79 degrees, up to 97 one more time with our winds out of the southeast because that ridge of high pressure sitting overhead. So with that overhead, we still remain dry. And for the month, we only have a little bit more than an inch of rain. We're down by 0.8 for the year, sitting at 18.83. So that's still up by about 0.6 of an inch of rain. And we need more to fall in the rain gauges for us. And that is in the 7-day forecast. But take a look at the drought monitor from last week until now. As you zoom our way on in, most of the Metroplex now in a moderate drought. Other areas of North Texas looks like abnormally dry for us. So we have the drought conditions returning here in North Texas. What changes going into tomorrow, into probably Saturday and even into Sunday? You see these numbers going up just a little bit more in the mid to the low mid 60s to the low 70s. That's the dew point, the measure of the moisture in the atmosphere. That means that tropical moisture is on the way for us. And as that starts to push its way on in, our cloud cover increases and our rain chances go up. Here's your 7-day forecast. So Friday 97, Saturday 95. On Father's Day, I'm forecasting 92, rain chances at 30%. Not a washout. You still can have some outdoor fun. Going into next week, though, look at the rain chances. Monday and Tuesday, much needed rain at a 50% chance, and high temperatures finally below average or right at average going through next Thursday.
Outdoor fun, bro. It's Father's Day. Ain't gonna be getting out of bed. Ain't gonna be getting out of bed. Country star George Strait leads a new tourism campaign for areas still recovering after Hurricane Harvey.
Every time I cross over the Copano Bridge and see that beautiful bay, it feels like home.
George Strait is the voice of the new Find Yourself in Rockport Fulton ads that are running all across the state. He's owned a home in the area for years. City leaders say that George Strait offered his distinctive voice and his talents free of charge. And nobody is surprised by that. George Strait. A son sees a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to bond with his father and seizes the moment.
The heartwarming video of the gift that both men will cherish for very different reasons. But first, a look at tonight's primetime lineup.
A deer finds its way into a subway station, starts prancing around a little bit. Animal caught on camera, galloping across the tracks in the Crystal City Metro Station in Arlington, Virginia. The deer managed to make it out without getting hit. Thank goodness. No riders ended up getting hurt. A lot of passengers, though, pretty surprised when they look over and see a deer running around inside the station. Father's Day, just 3 days away now. And for one Florida man, he knew he had to make this a memorable day for his dad.
Do you want to go up to Omaha and let's go watch the College World Series together?
Golly.
Does that sound like a good idea?
Yeah.
Just me and you to take a road trip?
Shoot. Hallelujah. You're going to break my heart here.
Well, happy Father's Day. So me and you are going to pack up tomorrow, and we're going to head up to Omaha.
I think he's game. Matt Leah's viral video shows him surprising his father last night with a trip to Omaha to watch his beloved Mississippi State Bulldogs play in the College World Series. Leah says his father, a former Bulldog baseball player, is in the final stages of Alzheimer's. So he decided to create one last memory together by gifting his father with a trip of a lifetime. They are now on the road, with Leah giving updates on Twitter. Game 1 is Saturday against Washington.
Hi, Doug and Gilma. Tonight on the CBS Evening News, breaking down today's scathing report on the FBI and James Comey, how the Coast Guard trains to thwart chemical attacks, and a Father's Day reunion 38 years in the making. Those stories tonight on the CBS Evening News, right after CBS 11 News at 5.
Taking advantage of the elderly. Coming up at 6, what police say this woman took from an assisted living facility here in North Texas, and why they believe there could be other victims.
As we take a look at the 7-day forecast, hot today, 96, 97 degrees across parts of North Texas. Tomorrow, 97. Thankfully, the high pressure then starts to break down. So what that means for you is cooler air is finally back into the forecast. Remember, the average high this time of the year, 91. I don't think we've been there for quite some time. We'll see 92 on Father's Day. Rain chances at 30%. The next week, rain chances at 50% Monday, Tuesday.
Well, that Monday, Tuesday temp looks nice, too.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks,
and
buddy.
Perfect Father's Day weather to stay indoors for you, huh?
Thank you. Let's sleep it off. We'll talk about it Monday. The news continues on the website, cbsdfw.com. We'll look forward to seeing you at 6 o'clock.